Hello, good day to you. Another week, and welcome to the Big Venture Zone. This is David Cohen. I'm going to be your host, and this show is geared to young entrepreneurs and founders, 20 to 35, to give them strategies, ideas, confidence to move forward with the ideas, tips, community, and resources they need to succeed. And boy, I'll tell you, in this market environment, you need all the help and good people around you. Just to, what do they say? It takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to raise a founder and an entrepreneur. Our guest today is a lovely lady, Daria Tilikanova. And I met Daria kind of probably on LinkedIn. You know how you add somebody new and you kind of look at their profile and you go, yeah, well, I don't know, I hope this works out. And I hope she's not marketing something to me that I don't need, unless it's hair care products. But Daria Tilikanova is a Toronto-based business coach, strategic mentor, and fundraising advisor, working with entrepreneurs and founders on business growth, customer acquisition, scaling strategies. Her work focuses on helping businesses build strong commercial foundations, from attracting clients and structuring sales processes to preparing for growth and increasingly, there we go, fundraising. Daria's background is rooted in hands-on entrepreneurship. She started in the educational space, where she built an offline English language school in her native Kazan, Russia, which she later successfully scaled and sold as a ready-made business. This experience became a key foundation for Daria's overall approach, understanding how to build something from the ground up, systematize it, and exit. Today, and Daria is also playing in the online space and the digital media space. And today she Daria's work sits at the intersection of business growth and fundraising. She helps founders strengthen their positioning, build their more effective customer acquisition strategies, and prepare their businesses for the next stage, whether that is scaling operations or entering conversations with investors. Her story reflects a continuous evolution from building and selling a traditional business to scaling online products to coaching entrepreneurs and now to working within the startup and venture ecosystem in Canada. She combines practical business experience with a growing focus on investment in high growth companies. Welcome to the Big Venture Zone, Daria. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it really is a pleasure. And I mentioned at the beginning that we met on LinkedIn, and I want to first of all compliment you because once we accepted each other as I guess colleagues on LinkedIn, yeah, you didn't start selling to me or hitting on me. And I mean that from a business sense. And, often, you get somebody new that wants to connect and they're wanting to sell their services to you. And yet it's like, take the time to get to know me and let's build the relationship and let's see if I'm even a fit for what you're doing. And that kind of is it's a bit of a bugaboo for me, Mm-hmm. I don't like that. And this is where I want to compliment you. You came across super professionally. We booked an intro Zoom call to get to know each other. You were, on time, professional, fun, polite, knowledgeable. I can't say enough good things about you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome so much. But it's true, that's how you came across. And then we followed up and we had another call. So yeah, it's really good to have met you earlier this year. And it's also really good not only to have met, but to start to strengthen our business relationship. So I mentioned, your background coming from Russia. Why the move to Canada? Like what made you want to leave Russia, family, friends, comforts, and come here to a new country that probably didn't know too much about?
There are so many whys why I moved.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing, you are right that when I started thinking and started preparing my process of like immigration process, um, I didn't have like it bad in Russia. So I had business. It was scaling and running. Everything was fine. But you mentioned that I worked, and I had an English school. English school for Russian people. What we did, our main focus was on adults who wanted to find a job or to move to another country. So basically, I worked in the sphere and industry, not work. I had a business, and I had a lot of people around me that were focusing on, and they had goals to move to other countries. And because I was working with them so much, I started listening to why do you want to leave? What is the goal? And a lot of people had different perspectives on why they want to move to another country, or like there are multiple reasons. And for me, initially, it was, why don't I try to do the same? I have a degree in translation and interpretation. I have very good language skills. I already have experience. It's not that hard to apply and and to get somewhere. Before that, before I even started thinking about moving abroad, I actually had the experience of moving to another city because my hometown is a different town. And I knew it's not an easy process, but I knew that if I choose correctly, if I choose precisely what I'm looking for, and I will go through that, it will be much better. So I was looking into different countries, actually. For me, it was different things are important to different people. For me, I think the most important one, and I tell that to everybody I meet, I've never worked for a corporate. I've never worked for somebody. So I did have a few jobs, few gigs, I would say, while I was at the university. I was working at the stables as a horse riding trainer, basically, because I had done it. I was a dancer for some time. I had gigs. It was never a job in a common sense. And I never wanted to. And I always wanted my own business, I would say. And I started it and it was going well. And one of the main things for me was, what country can I move to without necessity of getting a job and then spending 10 years at the job that I might not necessarily like, and so on. So that literally shortlisted a lot of options for me. And Canada was one of them. There are a lot of things that I like about Canada that I didn't understand back then, actually, but I'm happy I'm here. But the main point of the whole moving, and even though my first thought was, let me just try it, let me just, why not? Like, you have an opportunity, you have a lot of people you work with, you see how they are moving all the time, and you have all the skills necessary for that. So why not try and live somewhere else as a try? Later on, I started understanding a little bit more that there are more opportunities here in North America than in Russia. The policies, again, back then I didn't understand what is going to happen, with the country. But back then, it was before COVID, before everything. Back then, I already knew that the policies are not that, not that good. And internally for entrepreneurs, they were not that supportive, actually.
Where in your native Russia or here?
In Russia.
Okay.
in Canada, I feel, again, a lot of people disagree with me, but it's all about comparison, right? Right? When I compare what Russian entrepreneurs are going through and still going through with Canadian support of entrepreneurs, believe me, you have it good here. Yeah, like there are a lot of options how to start your business, build your business. There are a lot of communities for that. There is government support. There are multiple programs that you can go and learn and communicate and build your business. Russia is not like that completely.
Yeah.
Um, so I was talking to somebody today and I said, so right now in Canada, you're just running. You're running a marathon, but you're running. In Russia, you are running and you're jumping, you know, over and under some things. So you have to crawl somewhere where you have to jump somewhere. So you're not just running a marathon, you're also, you know, having some struggles along the way. So basically, it is that is true. So yeah, and I did start understanding it during the COVID actually. Like the first hit that, oh, I think I'm not just trying to move to another country, but I'm moving to another country. That was COVID, you know, then all the situations that are happening after that and all the political situations and so on, they showed me like more and more and more that yes, you kind of, I have to try and move. But I genuinely have seen a lot of people moving because they didn't have other choices. But for me, it was a choice. So it was the country of choice. It was a long preparation period. I have like, because I applied for my immigration visa during like a month before COVID, literally. So it took me like a long time to get it. But I'm when I moved, yeah, it was hard. You know, the transition period is usually hard. But I was mentally, I wouldn't say I was 100% prepared, but you know, I knew it's not going to be easy. Okay, so I was prepared that it will hit me hard. I have been through, you know, a similar experience. Okay, let's try and do it. But I would say I'm very happy I'm here. You know, I'm very happy in this time of, you know, in these times. Yeah, I love Canada.
And did, for those listening, we're
Mhm.
talking with Daria Tilikanova, and we're talking about, you know, how a young woman, you know, had the courage to come to a new country, start a business in the middle of super volatile times, you know, as well. My one, I guess, and so for those listening, this is a perfect example of someone who, you know, beat the odds, knew what the odds were, and went for it. So, what were, you know, in terms of moving here, Daria? What were your goals? And have you, now that you look back, I guess what, 6, 7 years later, have you?
No, it's actually 3 years. I've been
Oh,
here for 3 years.
okay. So have you achieved your goals then?
Um,
And what were they? Like, what were some key goals for you?
yeah, I don't think I had very, you know, I don't think I had the goals as of, you know, the goals in terms of job or business or money. I did understand that it will come for sure, but I didn't set something very, you know, specifically. So there were no specifics. Basically, what I did, I sold the company I had, right? So it was a scaling business. I think it would have been so much bigger if I just stayed, but I just decided not to. So my goal was actually to transition, come here, and then decide what, when, and how I want to do it. Because I don't really think that realistically saying I want to have a fully operated business within like 3 years of my moving to another country, which I completely don't know the traditions and the structure of, that's very unrealistic thing to do and to say. So my goal was to move, to get to understand how the business works here, what the ecosystem is, how the country works, you know, to basically get all the documents I need to live comfortably. And then when I already know that, then to set the goals. I would say that was the goal. The goal was not to make expectations of myself, to jump in too quickly. That is important for everybody who's moving to another country, especially our countries are very, very different. So Canada is so much different
Oh,
than
yeah.
literally another world. So I jumped into another world. I woke up in another world and I had to figure out, how things are done. And this is very differently than, than in the part of the world where I'm from. So I wouldn't say that I achieved all my goals. I think you always have a new goal to
Oh,
achieve,
yeah, for sure.
never ending period. But what I would say, I feel very good about where I'm at now because I have much better understanding how the ecosystem works. I'm part of this ecosystem. I'm also co-director of Startup Grind. So basically,
Mm.
I'm not only part of the ecosystem, I'm also shaping up the ecosystem a little bit, maybe not, as the huge influencer, but I have my influence in the part where I want it to be. I'm in the new sphere right now too. So basically, before that, I haven't ever worked with startups in tech. I've always worked with small and medium businesses, or I had medium and small businesses, or you know, um, social media and so on. Um, right now, I'm working more with tech startups, which is vibing here, and it's not in Russia again, right? So it's a little bit new of an industry for me, and I also start feeling more and more comfortable doing that. And I finally found where I can apply the knowledge and experience that I have had before here. Because you know what? I have been through the process of losing my belief in the experience that I had had. So basically, when you come to Canada and any other country, whatever country you are moving from, you are moving to, you tend to, I tend to, at the very least, okay, the experience that I had before doesn't matter. It's not relevant for this country, which is not true. It's not completely true, let's say, because a lot of things that I have been through with my business in Russia, they work similarly here. There are some, I would say, some peculiarities that you have to learn, certainly. Some things that you have to, understand that are completely different. But if you look at the main things, right? Entrepreneurship is still entrepreneurship wherever geographically you are.
Right.
So I had this tendency to, okay, this is irrelevant experience. But when I started working with people here locally, I understood that this is very relevant experience. I just have to apply it in a way that works in Canada. That's it.
Yeah.
So there was an adjustment in that situation too, but I like where I'm at. So having said that, I'm answering your questions that I haven't achieved all the goals that I set up originally, but I like where I'm at, and how I'm positioning myself in the ecosystem, how I'm connected in the ecosystem too, connected in terms of friendships, in terms of collaborations, in terms of the teams that I work with. So that is something that I feel proud of. That's
I,
even
I,
the strong word proud, but still I am.
yeah. Now, do you feel like as a young, being a young woman in a new country, have you received different treatment in terms of from the business world being a
Mhm.
young woman? So, has the business world been different? A, if you were older,
Mhm.
and B, if you were a man. Do you think
Mhm.
the treatment you've received in the business world, credibility, respect, that kind of thing, would it have changed if you were older or if you were a man?
It depends on what sphere we're talking about. That's the first thing. And second thing, it depends on how you look at it. Okay, so there were a few situations, I would say, what about the man. I do feel like startup and tech world is highly male dominant industry.
Yes, exactly.
If we're talking about that industry, especially if I'm sitting at the investors forum, because I'm also part of a VC, right?
Yeah.
If I'm sitting at an investors forum, a young girl, yes, I do feel a little bit, sometimes not mistreated, but I do feel sometimes, that it's a little bit like there are fewer women. Do I feel bad about it? No. Personally, me, I don't have any problems with that. And I don't think the treatment is completely different or something. So I wasn't treated badly. But yes, I think the credibility would be better if I were older man in this particular world. If we talk about small and medium businesses, I haven't felt that here in Canada at all, because I do feel like locally, especially, what is most important for people is relationship. Again, you mentioned at the very beginning that I didn't start selling you something right away. And I
Mm.
haven't yet, and I don't think it's even relevant here. For this kind of business relationship, what we can do, we can collaborate on something, right? But I don't think you really need my services at all. Like, no, that's not. So being, I think building a relationship with people is more important here than how old you are. So if you are building a relationship and you are showing to people or to your audience that you are knowledgeable, that you are right on time. That's exactly what you said, right? You are knowledgeable, you are right on time, you are polite and professional. If you are showing people that, I don't think it's so it will grow on people basically.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and you don't make a buying decision with somebody down the road if there's no respect,
yeah, so
no admiration,
so
no trust. Like
yeah.
these factors, the fact that you built your business based on those factors are super important.
I think they are generally important for all the people, but I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
like here locally in Canada, it's even more important than, let's say, it was in Russia and so on. But so having said that, again, I will answer your question. So sometimes I do feel like there are not enough female presence in some certain like tech world or investment world and so on. Me specifically, I haven't received any worse treatment. I feel like my credibility might be better if I were like older or male or something. But I don't, again, but I'm just the person who, like, okay, I have what I have. It is what it is. Let me see how it can work my way instead of letting it, somehow cloud my judgment or say, hey, these guys just don't want to talk to me because I'm a woman. I don't think that. I think people want to talk to you anyway. It's just, is it because I'm a woman or because I'm a new in the industry or because they have never seen me before? Right? So there are multiple things why. And again, what I've seen here, again in Canada, I don't feel like people judge you right away. I feel like, uh, yeah, like they are friendly and they will talk to you, and if they see that you are also nice, friendly, you are all in for a relationship and helping them, they are more than ready to build a relationship and move on, and then it will go to good collaboration or sale or whatever you can help each other with. So I haven't felt that here, let's say, as I have felt that in
Did
Russia.
did
And
you feel
I
that
did
in
work,
Russia then? Like,
yeah, and I did work in Dubai for some time,
okay, yeah.
and I did feel it there. I would say that was a thing. In Canada, I haven't noticed that specifically, but yeah, age might be a little bit of also. I also look younger than I. People don't see it, but today, I mean, during the podcast, but I look younger even than I am. So yeah, sometimes I am treated like a very, very young lady, which I'm older than that. And yeah, that is also sometimes, but again, having a conversation, having a relationship, people understand you know things and you talk about them. That removes all of these, um, barriers, let's say.
Yeah. Now you've done a lot to establish your coaching practice,
Mhm.
your consulting work, of course, your work with the networking group at the Startup
Mhm.
Grind. For younger entrepreneurial women
Mhm.
listening today, and guys, but more specifically for young women starting out,
Mhm.
well, what are like three things that they need to keep in mind as they start their business?
Um, I would say let's do it for everybody because I don't feel okay. Let me do it for everybody first, and then
Okay.
something that I want to add for girls, especially girls in Canada. Okay, so for everybody, I would say networking for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't really know where to start with just going out and talking to people. Honestly, when I just came here, I didn't know how to even position myself because in Russia, I was already doing like some coaching and mentoring, but it was like more of a side gig there. But I started it, I loved it. I'm like, okay, I'm getting results to people. That's so inspiring. So I moved here and initially, I didn't even know how to call myself because in Russia we have different words for that, which are not specifically applicable for like local markets. And this is different, even so the word might be the same, but the how people perceive the word is different. So I was like even trying to understand how do I call myself and going out and to business events, I would just say, you know what? I'm just doing my best. I don't even know what I do. Like I'm just doing my best. I'm just trying to understand what the. I literally explain to people that I'm you. I'm just trying to understand what the word business world is about. To just explain me. So I started conversations with people, and that's one conversation led to another conversation, led to another conversation, led to another conversation. That's how it got me first clients, first collaborations. That's how it got me the Toronto Startup Grind position because Startup Grind position started a few months ago. It wasn't like, it wasn't a thing like a few months ago. So it leads to conversations when you start talking to people. Another thing is start asking people who you think have relevant, not just everybody. That's a very important thing. There are people who will give you advice for free for whatever, but there are people who you should not even listen to. And it takes time to understand who you should and should not listen to. So my advice is from a person who has been through like an entrepreneurial journey, especially. I would say try and understand who are the people you should be listening to and who you should not. Because if a person doesn't have the results you want to achieve, you probably shouldn't even be listening to them. So if your neighbor who lives in the parents, basement gives you money advice, you probably shouldn't be listening to them. And if you meet somebody who's making millions of dollars, is giving you some advice, you should write it down and put some sticker on some place you can see it and read it like multiple times every day because that's the advice from some person who has achieved what you are going to achieve. So that's
Right.
important to understand who you should listen to, yeah, who
Yeah.
are the experts in the industry and who are not. And people mix up a lot, but still, they just listen to everybody. You shouldn't listen to everybody. Just try and understand who knows things and who just gives them, their opinion.
Yeah, and you have to trust your own process.
Judgment, yeah,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. Trust your own
So,
judgment. Ask questions, for sure.
yeah. Now, I want to focus a little bit on young women.
Yeah.
And I just spoke to a young lady who was in a training program, government training program
Hmm.
last summer, and I was her coach slash mentor.
Hmm.
And she's a little reluctant to start her business again.
Hmm.
So what stops younger women from success in business? And how would you guide them to believe in themselves and truly succeed? This is the mental part of
It
the
is, it is for sure. Yeah, as a coach, I mostly work with with whatever mentality is. Um, I think for women, it is. I think women are better in business than men. Actually, I
yes.
can explain why. Because especially at the very beginning, business is all about building relationship, and women are better at building human relationship in a lot of situations.
They're also more apt to learn.
Yes, that's exactly, yes, especially at the very beginning. That's why I said they
Mm,
also are not ashamed of saying, "Hey, I don't understand how it works. Can you please explain that to me?" So literally, women are so much easier on doing that. I have been coaching for I think like 5 years now, like multiple geographics and stuff.
hmm.
And 85%, even maybe more than that, were women because they are so easier to, okay, I don't know how to do that. I just have to find somebody who will explain that to me and I will, yeah, do that. Which is good, which is the uh, sides of every entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur has to be a little bit like that. Um, but at the same time, I think there are a lot of um, uncertainty, which women don't feel good around. Because you generally, if you start your own, okay, we generally live in the world full of uncertainties, right? Especially right now.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
very hectic world.
yeah. It's the understatement.
And the more uncertain it gets, the harder it is to put yourself in the position where you get even more uncertainty. Because business is more uncertainty in your world than not. So women are, like, I would say biologically not like that. They don't like that more than men. That's true. That's a biological process that when we want our safety basically. So girls are all in for safety. So this sometimes struggles with ambition. And I see so many ambitious women. So in a lot of situations, this is like fear that stops you from going a little bit more uncertain in that situation. And in a lot of situation, I think it's also, can I do that? This is the question. Like, is it even for me? Am I good at that? And am I good at building business? Or am I not built for that? So first thing I want to say, if you think business is not for you, you should first try having like building business, and maybe not even once, maybe like 2 3 times. And then if you completely don't like how the business is, then yeah, okay, make a decision that, okay, maybe. But again, you don't really learn to walk like if you haven't, you cannot walk without falling, right? When you
Right.
start your business, in a lot of situations you fail multiple times. So if you have started your business, you have tried that and you failed, it doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just means that you have to learn a little bit more and get a little bit better at that. And that's when you will learn it. So basically, business is not some magical, um, you know, magical stuff that you have in yourself from the day you were born. It's something you learn to do. It's the skill. It's the same skill as you learn how to cook. Skill. It's a set of skills. It's not one skill, but I mean, you
Okay.
learn how to cook. You learn how to do stuff. You can learn to be an entrepreneur if you have the ambition to do that. You can learn it. That's it. Just okay, go on and learn it, and fail and learn and fail and learn. That's always the process. So I would say that's the best thing you can do. For specifically for women, what I find interesting, I used to have this. It was a joke for me, but right now it's not. It's not a thing to joke about anymore for me. So it used to be that every time I met a male, starting their own business, they would already tell me, I'm the CEO of an international, VIP brand or something like that.
Hmm.
When in reality, it turned out that they have a product and they haven't sold anything yet. And, like they literally don't have the money, they don't have the team, but they already call themselves CEO or something. Or, the manager or the director or whatever. And I thought it was funny. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry to say this word, but like, hey, it's not a business. You don't have a business anymore. You just have an idea or a product, but that's not the business yet. The business is a system, and you don't have it. You haven't even made your first money yet. And I was like, why would they do that? And the girls were like, oh, I just have a small bakery.
Yeah, they under they
And
under
like, and she's making so much more money than this guy.
yeah, and they undervalue themselves.
Yes. So the
Yeah,
thing is, when girls, like girls, women, female, they underestimate how good they're doing sometimes.
right.
Sometimes they're like, it's not a small bakery. You are making money. You're
Okay, so that's my
outranking the
next
business.
question, and I got to be mindful of
Okay,
time
go.
because we're almost
Okay,
out
sure,
of
sure.
time. We're
Okay.
with Daria Tilikanova. She's a local entrepreneur, VC, venture capital, involved with Startup Grind, a very new and networking organization in the tech field here in Toronto. I just have a few questions left. So, you were just talking about how women tend to undervalue themselves, where men tend to overvalue themselves. So, self-love, self-esteem, self-care,
Mhm.
to me, go into leading a successful, balanced life and business. Can you
Mhm.
speak to that a little bit? Like
Uh,
self-love first. Like, what do young women entrepreneurs and even men need to practice as far as
mhm.
self-care, self-love?
Yeah, for sure. So let me start with a thing
And let's
I
be mindful
mentioned.
of time because we're
Yeah, yeah,
almost.
yeah. Okay, okay, sure, sure. I'm sorry. This is the topic I can literally talk to.
I know, I know.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, for women, I would say, yeah, try and whenever you achieve even a small thing, try to like praise yourself with that. Try to celebrate your achievements for sure.
Yeah,
This is the way that you grow your self-esteem very quickly. I would say there are a lot of practices how to do that. How to like there are specific practices how you can grow your self-esteem. But especially for girls, yes, like celebrate every achievement you have ever done because girls do tend to underestimate themselves. And another thing is, from what I was saying, like why male overestimate and girls underestimate. It's not about the estimation. I would say male, like men, mostly talk about what they see in the future. They are dreamers in a lot of situations, while girls, they like we tend to like stuck to what we have. That's why we're talking about bakeries, not about the CEO, right? So I would say for girls, for females, try and think more about what your dream is and speak from your dream perspective. So I don't think it's irrelevant. I do think that we have to like dream bigger, be a little bit bolder in that. Okay, I do own a small bakery, but I actually want a chain of them, and talk about the chain of the bakeries.
yeah,
That's about self love. That's about, okay, I do have ambition, but I do want other people to know about my ambition and to see how big my ambition is and to estimate me not on just on what I already have, but on the ambitions that I have too. Because you can have your small bakery all your life, but maybe it's just the first step for you, right? And you have to talk about that too. You
yeah.
have to show people, especially with the VC world. VCs really like dreamers. We do. Like, it's just, you just look at the person and like, yeah, they do want that with all of their heart, you know that means that there is something about this person that will achieve it.
What
About
about
self
self?
care, yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
sure. Sorry, I'm just passionate about that. So about self care,
Yeah, let me ask you that though.
mhm,
When things go wrong in the business, as an entrepreneur, both men and women, we
mhm,
can often be our own worst critic.
sure.
How can we start to shift that and use it as a learning lesson, as a way to improve, and as a way to have an experience?
Mhm.
Yeah, what's your take on that?
So what I do, I do have practices, right? That I mean, I practice every day. I do like meditation as a practice, and
Excellent.
it's not something spiritual for me. It's very biological thing.
Mm,
Actually learning how to, that's also part of self-care and part of switching off that critic that sometimes cannot shut up, and you want it to sometimes, right? So you want that, okay, I haven't done so bad, I have done something, I have to praise myself, but there is some inner critic that just doesn't, just cannot take you, like, um you know take what you have already done and praise you for that. So basically meditation is a very good thing. Second thing is, as maybe usual as it seems, like positive mindset, but positive mindset does not go easily on people. So when I say positive mindset, they're like, yeah, whatever. But to actually practice this positive mindset, what I do like is a short meditation practice for this positive mindset. There are four things that you have to go through within like a few minutes, maybe. So first thing, you sit and focus um, on where you are at, like present moment. I'm present. So you look around yourself, you try and hear things. Okay, what can I hear? What can I feel with my body? What can I smell? What can I taste? Like focus on present moment. Second is I I'm enough. So you're trying to focus and think about really hard on your what good about yourself and about your life you already have. Even if it's not so good, it's still not bad, right? It's still something you might have dreamt of. Like 3 years ago, you've dreamt about this, and now you have it, and somehow you don't value it. So try and think about it. Like, what's good about yourself, your qualities, your, I don't know, apartment, the city you live in, and so on. What's good about that, right? Third thing is, I'm loved. Try to think about who are the people you love and who people who love you back. It might not necessarily be just the family or just friends. It might even be, I will be thinking about you today, maybe because you gave me so many compliments today. And this is a little bit of love, right? Like, okay, there are a lot of people who value and cherish me. Might not be personal, it might be like, professional, but they are still nice and good to me. And this is something that I should value too in my life. So I'm loved. And again, I'm here. I'm enough. I'm loved. And the last one is I'm open. It's about what is going to happen next. Changes are inevitable. It will always happen. World is changing all the time. Your life is changing all the time. You want your life to change, basically, right? But we are afraid of changes. That's a biological mechanism that doesn't sometimes gets you stuck. It's very hard to get out of your routine, basically, and your
yeah,
comfort zone. So
yeah.
I'm open is about you think about, okay, what are the opportunities that might come my way sooner rather than later? Or where are these opportunities, or how should I look for them? So this is the feeling of, okay, something is going to happen next, and this something might be so good for me. So try to focus on that. This is the practice. It literally takes time. You have to do it maybe not every day, but a few times a week. Literally shifts your perception of reality. You start looking at things much nicer. And you are not lying to yourself. You are saying right things. There are some things where you are, oh, I'm rich when you are really poor. So you don't do that. You don't lie to yourself
No,
internally. Yeah, you say, okay, I do already have so many good things in my life. Focus on that, and then you build up more on that. So this is an important practice, and I would love everybody to try and do that.
all
Try
right.
and sit for 5 minutes in the evening, and that will change your life, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I like that you're meditating and that
Yeah,
you're bringing
it is
that to the
important. It
table.
is important.
So we got to wrap up. I have just two
Sure.
quick questions, of course. Talk to us briefly about and I say briefly,
Yeah,
about
okay.
Startup Grind. Who is it for?
It's for startups and young entrepreneurs, and for investors too. We organize events, that's briefly. We organize multiple
Okay.
events. You can find that on our website and sign up
What's
for.
the website?
Website is startupgrind.com/Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And what events are coming up in April?
In April, actually, we have one. I just got the message that we have one in 6th of May.
Okay.
And in April, it's a little bit of changes because in May there is Toronto Tech Week. We are going a lot. We're doing a lot for that. 6th of May is going to be a cool one. Pitches and plunges. So startups are going to be pitching to VCs in sauna. So we decided to go a little bit fancy on that. Yeah, that's our next one.
Sounds good. And where do we get in touch with you, Daria, if we want to work with you?
On LinkedIn, that's the easiest one, I guess, and the fastest one. Yeah, I think
Okay.
LinkedIn is the easiest.
So
Yeah,
it's Daria, and I'll spell it for those who,
yeah,
well, you'll see the post for this
yeah, sure.
podcast, but it's Daria and then Tilikanova. This was great. I had other questions to ask you,
Okay.
but
I'm so sorry.
we'll just
I
have to
was
have.
talking too much.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, you know what that means? As I said at the beginning before we went to air, it just means we're going to have you back, Daria.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. I will be so
Yeah,
happy
yeah, because
to
there's
have
more
you.
that I had to ask you. So,
Okay, great.
yeah,
Great.
this was great. That was, I'm going to say entrepreneur extraordinaire. How's that? That
Okay.
means like an extraordinary entrepreneur.
Thank you so much. I've never been called that, but I think I will wear it as a badge of
Yeah,
honor.
yeah, wear it as badge
Thank
of
you.
honor, walk around, you know. That was Daria Tilikanova. She joined us from her home office in Toronto, Ontario. Next week, we're going to take a week off for the long Easter weekend. Again, always a joy being here. If you like what we're doing, share it out with others. I'm David Cohen. This is the Big Venture Zone. Thank you so much for listening. Have a really, really good week. Stay well. Enjoy the long weekend. It's a very spiritual time. So, let's learn to connect and enjoy. And yeah, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Daria, again, thank you. And
Thank you.
yeah, and we'll look for startupgrind.com/Toronto, and then look for Daria on LinkedIn, or just come through me and I'll make the introduction. Yeah, thank you. Have
Thank
a,
you.
all right, have a good week, everybody.